Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 346, Why People Pleasing Keeps You Stuck and Over Drinking. Well, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. Oh my gosh. Today, my kids went back to school and I have the house completely to myself. It's just me and Jackie Poo and our cat Butterscotch. And I am luxuriating in the solitude and the quiet and the peace. And things are kept where I put them all day. And I planned no meetings today, just getting caught up on some work. I went for a walk with my dear friend Martha and the dogs this morning. And then I went and sat next to our pool. And I was the only one there. And the weather was perfect. Sunny, 80 degrees, nobody there. The town is quiet. Like there's nobody out. And I think everybody is luxuriating in this moment where everybody goes back to school. And then I was laying there and a bird was flying overhead and I could hear the sound of its wings flapping. And I've never heard that before, like on its own in nature. And it was just like unbelievable. I heard cicadas. I saw cicadas. I saved one in the pool. I had hot coffee and a cool pool temperature water and warm sun. And I'm telling you what, it was everything. And so I got energized by the sun and got my nature fix, and I am ready to record some podcasts for y'all. And I'm really excited about this topic today because it's been coming up a lot in my coaching calls. And this is a very common theme around women who overdrink, around the topic of people pleasing and why specifically people pleasing, saying yes to things and to people when you really don't want to. Pleasing them before you please yourself, right? Keeps you stuck in overdrinking and other patterns like resentment and not trusting your person in this relationship that you keep doing this with. So I want to talk about that today. And I'd love to hear from you. If you struggle with this, I want to help. So you could write in and tell me what the situation is. I could coach you back on the podcast. If you're one of my clients, let's definitely talk about it. And if you want my personalized help with ongoing support, just shoot me an email. I've got some things brewing around the membership, Alive AF, and with private coaching. So shoot me an email if you're interested in working with me on anything over drinking, relationships, all that stuff. I love talking about that and coaching people and helping them expand and grow and change things that aren't working for them. So getting into why we say yes too much. So sort of like the psychology around it. So a lot of us are socialized from a young age to be agreeable, more helpful, you're accommodating, and saying yes as an adult feels like the way to be loved and accepted. We're not walking around consciously thinking this way. I just want to point that out. Like you just know, like if you find yourself doing things like overdoing, overbooking yourself, being involved in too much, this could be the reason because we are told to stay busy. We're told we got to be helpful, right? We have all these roles and responsibilities that we've been programmed to adapt. Underneath all of that, though, is a fear that if you say no, somebody's going to be disappointed, right? Or mad, or the relationship will change. And so what happens is we start saying yes when we actually mean no. Yes to hosting things like around the holidays or whatever it is, right? Yes to keeping alcohol stocked in your house. So like a lot of y'all think that you need to keep alcohol for guests. And you don't, by the way, but a lot of you believe that you do. That's like what a proper host would do. Even when it's triggering for you, or even if you're dipping into it when they're not around, right? That's just one very small example. Maybe yes to like dinners or parties or evening events where drinking is often the main focus, and you keep saying yes to those things and then you're over drinking. You might be saying yes to just one glass, even when your mind is like, no, that's not on your plan. That's not according to your goal, right? You're saying yes when you really want to say no, like your body is screaming no, and it's just hard, right? That yes is not really honest. It's not really what you want to be doing. But it's a survival strategy, like I said, because you don't want to break away from the clan. We don't want to lose our relationships and be exiled, right? And over time, this erodes your own self trust and trust in your relationships. I was coaching somebody the other day, and this very brave, intimate conversation that we were having, and we were talking about a relationship, and this person told me that they were scared to say no to something because they felt like the other person would start saying no and then they would break up. Okay, this is a very normal fear, like that the relationship would change, it would fall apart. And it revealed another fear that they had was that if they themselves, the person I was coaching, was saying yes to things that they didn't really want to do, they also had a fear that the other person in the relationship could also be saying yes to things that they didn't want to do. And they were scared of that dynamic as well. And so it kind of spurred this idea to talk about this specific dynamic of understanding the things that you're saying yes to that aren't good for you and why, right? And I mentioned some of those things before, like the psychology around that, our programming, our conditioning. We need to be agreeable, especially if we're in new relationships or different relationships, maybe at work. But if you're in a new like romantic relationship or something, at the beginning, like you're kind of like going with the flow a little bit, and you might be doing things that you normally don't do, and you're saying yes to everything, right? And it's not like you're just like kind of caught up in all of it. But then when things start settling and you're like, okay, like these are things maybe I don't really want to be doing, or I need to rest today, or, have some alone time and recharge after a busy chunk of time together, which is absolutely okay and normal, by the way. We get hesitant to do that because of the programming we have around what you need to do in your relationship, right? So like in order to stay a happy married couple, you have to do everything together. You should never go on vacations alone, or blah, blah, blah. Like what are the rules that we have adapted to for ourselves in our relationships that we're constantly like playing into, right? This programming that we've been told about how to be in these different relationships. And then we start doing things that we actually don't want to be doing. And that causes that distrust with ourselves. And it actually isn't good for the relationship, because then you don't trust the other person because you're not trusting your own decisions, right? So then you might question, did they really want to be doing that? Are they just doing that to, right, to be obligatory to me? Or are they doing that out of guilt? Like we might question some of that, but usually that stems from our own decisions that we're making that are for the other person and not necessarily for us. And I'm not saying that you should never do anything for anybody or like be obligated because you're in a relationship. It's very nuanced. And if you have any questions about it, you just need to get coaching or talk to somebody about it, right? These are general concepts I'm talking about that you can probably recognize, like, oh yeah, I've definitely said yes to things and then resented it later, and definitely pushed my relationship apart, or I get so burnt out and resentful that everything kind of blows up and I have to completely run away for a while, right? So just kind of like understanding that a little bit is what I want to talk about. So if that is you, the way to sort of work on that is really start listening to yourself, really start paying attention to what works for you and what doesn't. So it's not about, and that's just being honest with yourself. Okay. So being honest with yourself is like every time I go out on the weekends with my friends and I try to make a drink plan and I always go over. That might be an honest conversation that maybe as you're really working on your relationship with alcohol in the beginning, you need to not go out at night with these people, right? Maybe you need to shift and think about, okay, I love these people. I want to hang out with them. I don't want to completely redo my lifestyle, but maybe we can just meet for coffee and a walk in the morning. Or maybe we can meet up at a yoga class during the day. Or maybe we can go see a movie, right? Maybe it just needs you to like choose yourself here and not keep putting yourself in that same situation that isn't good for you, right? So that's being honest with yourself, right? So saying yes to what is good for you over making other people feel uncomfortable. right? And I think a lot of times we'd like to tell ourselves stories about how other people might react to our decisions or how other people might feel if we do something. And again, that just gets back to our conditioning because we've been told we should make other people happy, right? They'll be so happy if you do this. And like that should be the main motivator. And if you are working on your relationship with alcohol, the main motivator needs to be you and what's good for you. You do have to sort of claim some selfishness here. It is not selfish to work on yourself and fix your drinking. Okay, that's healthy decisions. It's healthy things that you're doing for yourself and for your life, and that has a ripple effect into other people. So when you start doing that in little bits, right? So maybe it's just like, you know what, guys, every time I go out on Saturday night and I overdrink and I don't want to do that this weekend. So can we meet up and do something else? That's just being honest, right? That's asking for what you need and not buying into the script of like, if I say something, I'm going to hurt people's feelings and my relationships are going to fall apart. If you're meant to be in those relationships, they will come along with you and support you. Okay. It's more about being in alignment with what is right for you. And so an example you could say is, I'd love to see you, but right now going to that bar isn't the best choice for me. Can we do coffee instead? It's bringing it back to you, not them, right? It's not putting the blame on that. Every time I hang out with you guys, I drink too much. No, I'm working on cutting back. And every time I go out, I tend to overdo it. So I'd really want to get away from that for a little bit until I can get this under control. Another way you could be is like, you know what, guys, like if you're used to hosting or people coming over, you might have some overnight guests or weekend guests frequently. You could say something like, I'm not keeping wine in the house anymore. So if you want to bring your own alcohol, that's fine, but I won't be stocking it. And then if that still doesn't work, like you have to like play with this stuff and try things. You could take it to the next level and be like, guys, I love you. I want to see you. You're welcome to stay here, but I'm practicing having an alcohol-free house right now. So I'm not saying you can't drink when we go out or whatever, but you don't have to say alcohol free. But in my house, I need to have this a sacred, safe place because every time I'm around people who drink, it really makes me want to drink. And I'm really working on not drinking right now. And if they're your people, they will love and support you. And if they can't do that because they have their own drinking problem, let them decide what that looks like. Let them be an adult and decide, you know what, I think I should just get my own place. I've been thinking about that anyway. Like, let them come up with a solution for that. Okay. It's not your responsibility to fix it. Okay. It's not your responsibility to house all the alcoholic drinks for people that may want a drink. It's just not. Okay. And I know that feels scary. I know that. And coming from me, I haven't drank in over 7 years. That would be very easy for me to say, but I've had lots and lots of practice of honoring myself and saying no when I really need it. I need to say no, right? Last week, I talked about saying no to a really good friend and going on this 50th birthday trip, right? That's hard when everybody else is going, but I had to honor myself. And then when it shifted and it came time for another check in and to see if it was something I could consider, I was ready to say yes. And now I couldn't be more excited, right? So things shift. You might have to have hard boundaries and say yes to yourself a lot in the beginning. Or if you find that you've been working at this for a while and things aren't moving at the pace that you want to, you might have to be really like guarded and choose yourself more often. And then it can even out over time after you get a solid baseline of navigating these types of situations and honoring yourself, and building trust with yourself. Over drinking goes hand in hand with over committing to things and saying yes to things that really aren't good for you. Right? So women who overdrink too much are often the ones who are overperforming in their careers, over managing their families, and overextending socially. So if you guys think about, like, zoom out and look at your life and think about how much free time you have on a daily or weekly basis and what the impact of not having downtime does for yourself, your self-care, and your relationship with alcohol. A lot of times these are regular patterns, like overdrinking goes hand in hand with overworking and overscheduling yourself because we can't be still, right? We can't be sitting with our thoughts and feelings, right? And I just want you to notice that. And you might have to keep drinking to just tolerate some of these things. If you have to drink because, your coworkers are bothering you at happy hour, it's like, why are we going to happy hour? Right? Why are you just drinking to, make this event tolerable? These are questions you should ask yourself. And if the answers are because I don't like doing this, then you should stop doing that. It really isn't that complicated, I promise. And once you start doing it, take off little bites, like little things where you can honor yourself on a day-to-day basis. What you will be telling other people in a sort of a nonverbal way is that you're trusting yourself and you're honoring yourself, so that when they do ask you to do something and you say yes, they believe you, because they know you wouldn't do something if you didn't want to do it. And that is a healthy relationship, right? It's healthy when you trust the other person's response. It's healthy when you are just doing something that you actually want to do. And that's when your relationships can actually really come together and really be enhanced by doing this. So be in it for you, and also think about what that could do to your relationship over the long term, right? So when you display how you want to be treated and you are only doing things that you really only want to do or that are good for you, people know what to expect from you and they believe and trust you more, right? Kindness, clear is kind. I love this phrase, clear is kind. I'm really sorry. No, that's not going to work for me right now. I'd love to think about something else next time. No, I don't have the capacity for that right now. No, I'm good with water. Thank you. No, you can't bring alcohol in my house. I'm really trying to keep it an alcohol-free house because that's better for me. You're welcome to drink on your own time, right? Like, these are just it's very clear and it's very kind. People want to know what to expect, just like you want to know what to expect. We get mad at ourselves when we overcommit and do things that we said that we didn't want to do, right? Whether that's over drinking past your plan, not making a plan, constantly not honoring our commitments to ourselves and doing things that we know aren't good for us. That is really frustrating to ourselves, right? Because it delays our progress, doesn't feel good, it's not fun, and then we get stuck in that cycle. So I want to give you some tips about just sort of practically, how do we do this? Like, if you're really in it with like saying yes to all the things and you're really busy and you're burnt out and you're drinking on the regular, a good way to start practicing is just slowing down before you commit to stuff. If somebody texts you and asks you to do something, before you write back right away, slow down, give it a few hours. Check in with yourself. Check in with your body. Does this feel expansive and energizing, or does this feel heavy and constricted or tight, or do you feel like a resistance in your body? This is how you know, right? Don't get in a battle with your mind, but check in with your body. Take a couple deep grounding breaths, put your feet on the floor, close your eyes. How does it feel to say yes to this thing? How does it feel to say no to this thing? And just check in and see how that feels. And trust what that feels like for you, okay? And then you just want to experiment with some small no's. Try it in like some low-stakes situations, declining a group text invitation, telling your partner you'd rather rest or go read a book in a different room than watch TV, or saying no to your regular glass of wine after work and having a mocktail instead, right? Just try doing that in small doses so that you can build up to maybe some of the bigger ones. Like, no, I live in an alcohol-free house now. I know that might seem really big for a lot of you. The other thing is, expect some discomfort in this. Obviously, somebody might be disappointed. Somebody might not like the change that you're doing. It's okay. Remember, just like your feelings are okay, their feelings are okay. It's okay that people get disappointed. They're not going to die. They're adults and they can be disappointed. It's normal, right? That their disappointment doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means that they're human and you're human. And if it's a good relationship, you guys can talk through it if you want. If it's not, maybe it's time to look at other things. And then look at how your relationships shift. The people who truly value you will adapt, and you trust in them will grow because you know that you're both showing up honestly. And that is a really wonderful, loving place to be. So trusting in your relationship starts with learning how to trust yourself and understanding when you're saying yes to things that aren't good for you and making those small shifts so that you can trust when other people say yes or no to things to you. And I will tell you this, I wouldn't spend too much time wondering if what they are saying yes to is their truth or not. We have to let adults be adults. We have to say, if they have something to say to me, or if they don't want to do something, I have to trust that they're an adult and they will tell me. So don't spend too much time getting all up in other people's heads, wondering if they are being a people pleaser. It's not good. It's not healthy, right? You have to trust yourself, and you have to trust that other people are adults and they make their own decisions, and that their decisions are okay. All right? It's just a very freeing thing, is don't worry about what other people are thinking or what is behind their decisions. Just trust it, that is the best decision for them. Okay, otherwise you're thinking way too much about what other people are thinking about and why they do things, and it really just distracts you from focusing on yourself and your own goals to, improve the quality of life and change your drinking. All right, my friends, I love you. Keep staying tuned. If you're on my email list, there might be something exciting coming in the next couple weeks. So make sure you read my emails. And if you're not on my email list, go to angelamascenik.com, and then on that homepage, sign up and get this little guide that is called Start Here. And I email you right away this little guide that helps you figure out where to start to change your relationship with alcohol. And then you're going to be on my email list. So you'll be the first to know these fun little thing that I have up my sleeve that's coming up this fall, and you don't want to miss it. All right, my friends, I love you. Have a beautiful weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.